episode of the Lonely Uncle podcast is brought to you by no other than Lonely Uncle Love Jelly. Have people been mistreating you? Maybe taking advantage of you in some ways? Probably throwing you around, work, disrespecting you? Well, it's never too late to apply some Lonely Uncle Love Jelly to get through the day. We have a testimonial from Bill Williams. Bill Williams writes in and says, "Thank you, Lonely Uncle, for all of the entertainment and all the insightful takes and the witticisms. You make me laugh every day. I really did pick up your product at the drugstore, Lonely Uncle Love Jelly, and let me tell you, right before I had to call the cable company because my bill was being increased, it came in great use. I proceeded to get on the phone, and they increased my bill even more. I didn't even ask for to get my bill reduced. They just started increasing my bill. Didn't even do anything. And I was glad that I had the Lonely Uncle Love Jelly. It just made me get through a little bit more and take it. So go ahead and get your Lonely Uncle Love Jelly. And it is actually not sold across the counter. You're going to have to get a prescription from your local doctor. Good to be here, people. Let's get this on. Woo! God, I love that. A little Frank this afternoon, this evening, wherever time you're listening to this. You could be listening to this in 2027. You could be just discovering this on its 15th season, going back and watching and listening to them all, and just gathering that knowledge. Eating. We're here, baby. We're here. Hope you had a wonderful, wonderful time. And I'm glad to be here. Glad I'm here. It's just opportunities, man. It's just opportunities. And I'm glad you're listening. And it's just live, bro. It's just live. Man, where do I start today? Well, let me just tell you a little bit about the other day. We went out to a daycare center. And I know that's weird because I'm the lonely uncle, but. And, I don't have any children, as you know. Yes, I know that. But this daycare center had, it was a brewery, because this is day and time. Breweries are daycare centers. And does Jay Rich basically like to be himself everywhere he goes? Yes. Man, I swear... you look around some of these breweries, man, and dude, you're outnumbered. You're outnumbered, bro. I mean, it's like 3-4 to 1, children to adults. And their parents are nowhere in sight. And one time I went to KinderCare. KinderCare is a known place where you basically take your kids. And there was actually more adults there than the brewery. Or more, because the brewery, all children. All children. But anyway, I went to a daycare. Some people try to call it a brewery, but it's a daycare. And I met up with some friends. And if you know anything about the Lonely Uncle, the Lonely Uncle's single. Single, baby. I mean, are there people that desire the Lonely Uncle? Absolutely. Has he been getting inappropriate messages? Absolutely. Does he feel like a piece of meat sometimes? Absolutely. But does he just ignore them and just keep going, just like Frank Sinatra in that song? Absolutely. So, that's just where I am, baby. But anyway, one of my friends has been hitting me up lately. And, I never blame my friends for this. I haven't heard from him in many, many years. And now we're friends again because getting his second divorce. Okay? And that's just the way friendships go. You call on your dogs and your real G's when you need something. And when you're in between your second and your third divorce, I'll be there for you, bro. And I am every day. I pick up that phone, I say, hello. What'd she do now? Or what'd you do now? You know? But I'm always there for him. And he was like, yo, bro. I mean, you got a moment of clarity right there, baby. Between your second and third. I feel like that's where you're at your best place. You're at your best place in second, third. Me, I haven't even experienced my first. So how can I be a well-rounded person? Never been divorced. Never caught my girl red-handed. Or never had the opportunity to wild out and get caught. But my friends, he's at a pretty good place because he's in between his third and fourth divorce. And so we were going to go meet some friends. And of course, our friends are what? They're older, and a lot of them are married, and they have kids, for sure. But I give props to these groups. They left their kids at home, unlike everybody else at the daycare. Everybody else brought their children sipping on that pint. And, and they're looking around, looking for people dropping, maybe, once in a while. I don't really go blue because I'm pretty clean as far as when my material goes. But, once in a while, I might say the D word. Darn. And I'll probably have to edit that out because I don't want that to get out, So I'm there at the brewery, and man, one of my friends, he had a friend of a friend. And we're all sitting at the table, enjoying ourselves. And this, man, I've been on this, I've been serious about this, just to preface it. Always preface stuff. I realize that's how I tell stories. I'll get into them, and then I have to go back and tell you what sets it up. And what's about to set this up is I've been fasting. And if you don't know what fasting is when you don't eat ever. Until later in the day. And then you eat way too much crap because you're starving, ravenous, hungry. And I suggest it because it works. But anyway, I had not ate. I'm at this daycare. I hadn't ate. Man, I'm looking around, dude. I kind of like the feeling because I'm pretty much starving. And I have no desire to eat at the moment when I roll up in there, right? And I see my homie, I see all these little children around. And I started thinking about that Jonathan Swift, that modest proposal. Eat the children. I swear I was so in tune with my body. And it was making these noises like, hungry and stuff. Man, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Those kids look delicious. I was thinking, hey, man. Probably could eat this little kid right here. Their parents are going to know because they're over there on the other side. And every time their kids come over there, they're like, you go back over there and you throw the cornhole thing in front and hit those people. And those people were us. And then you laugh and you be obnoxious about it because we don't want to watch you, But so I'm there and I'm just like in tune, like with my body, every noise it makes. And I feel like my senses were like, I had a sixth sense, like a hunter and gatherer kind of days where I was just like looking around, like scanning the room for and I didn't want like regular food, I wasn't about to eat that, but I was looking at man, little kids. And this, my friends, brought a little dog. And there's nothing worse than a little dog, especially one that you can put in your purse. And I was like, dude, I was looking at the dog too. I was just like eyeing it. Like, it was crazy. Like, I was just like out of it. Hadn't ate. And I was tripping. But it kind of like my like ancestor, like I guess my ancestors, the hunter and gatherers, that element kind of kicked in a little bit, and I kind of got a feeling of what it would be like. You're out and you see something moving in the woods. You're like, man, I got to get it. You know what I'm saying? So ridiculous. But I was hungry, bro. I was hungry. And I was looking at that dog after I said, man, I can't eat a kid today. I can't eat a child. You know, even if it was to pay my respects to Jay Swift. You know, I couldn't do it. But I did think for a second. I said, dude, I think I could definitely eat your dog. I could. That's my mindset, because I was hungry, bro. I was really hungry. It was amazing. That's crazy though. The way that at first I didn't like it. The only thing about keto is what I would say, or fasting, because I'm not really staying true keto. You know, it's, man, you do get hungry, but if you can resist that urge, and you get that feeling of like euphoria, like just kind of like chilling, you know, because you don't need that food at that moment, and you don't let it control you. It's good. It's a good feeling. I suggest it, you know, because I tried the fad diets and all that stuff, and you know, I'm getting in shape for Halloween. I don't know what I'm going to be yet, but I know I always got to play the role. I got to always do something. And I just figured that it's easier to gain weight than lose weight. So I'll just lose a lot of weight. And if I need to gain some when I figure out what I am, I was thinking about being one of the fat boys. That'd be easy to prepare for. I could just eat a lot. But, if I wanted to be somebody a little bit skinnier, I could also prepare for that, because I'm a character Halloween person. Yes, I am an adult that dresses up for Halloween. Is that sad? Yes, it's sad. But is it fun? It's fun, but it's also sad. But Halloween's pretty cool. I like that. I like that time of year. So, that's one of those things. So after I got that past that, and we got a little popcorn, some stale popcorn, and it kind of soothed me out a little bit, and I needed it for sure. But this is what really got me riled up, and let me get ahead and get this started, okay? So I'm talking to his friends, and I'm mixing it up, and the girl I'm actually talking to, I don't want anything out of anything. I'm past expectations, bro. I'm just out being me, being a G, I'm just being me. Just being me. So I'm out there, and I'm talking to this girl, and she's really interesting. And if somebody's interesting to me, I immediately engage with conversation, because I love a good conversation, right? So I'm sitting there, and I found out her friend came up to her, and I found out she creates these ceramic bowls and these cups, and they're cool. So I'm like, wow, this isn't just kind of some side hobby. This is like pretty legit. So I'm totally intrigued. I'm like locked in, and I know that she has a boyfriend, for sure. But I get to talking, and I'm like, so she just got back. This is even better. She just got back from traveling to Europe. So I was just like, bro, good God, she'd been there for a couple months, a little bit more than a couple months. I was talking about how she got inspired, and she created all this, these sculptures, this, pottery or whatever, just the art, really cool stuff. And I was just like, this is the coolest, because as a creative, because that's what I call myself, I'm a creative. You got regulars and you got creatives. I'm a creative. It's hard. If I find another creative, I got to link up with them, and it's very rare, especially if it's just like, a female, you click, you're just like, bam. So at first I'm just cool, and I'm asking, because I don't want to talk about myself usually in this situation. I'm just all dialed in, because I'm looking for inspiration. I'm looking for people that are interesting. I'm just engaged. So I'm just like, and it seemed like there was a time in the conversation it just fell flat, and I just can't stand this. because I'm not, I'm just I'm actually curious. I'm intrigued. I'm asking questions. But she started talking about her boyfriend who's in law school at Campbell. And all of a sudden, everything seemed to come back to this man, her boyfriend, who's a good guy, for sure, but not interesting, right? But you proceed to want to talk about the most uninteresting person that's not even there, that would be in the room, when you are the most interesting person. I wanted to keep talking about you and where you visit in Europe, where I should go next time. Let's get up in it. Just talk, because I'm interested, right? You left your kids at home and you went to a brewery? Check. You're already there, baby. You already have my attention. But meanwhile, you want to keep talking about this dude and, how, he has the biggest law firm set up when he graduates, and we're going, and I was thinking, but what about you? What about your art? What about your calling? It was just so disappointing. It was just so disappointing on so many levels. Her Joker. And I went with a lady friend who, once in a while, we get together and we hang out. We, we used to kick it, but now she friend zoned me a long time ago, and then I just realized it wasn't worth it, and we just kind of laugh about it, so it's a good thing. But it was a funny story, because we go to the theater, and we watch it, and we start to watch it, and in the middle of it, while he's giving his mom a bath, because, I was totally mesmerized by the whole film. I have to say that, but anyway, let me tell you what she said first, because I know I do this all the time. But anyway, he's giving his mom a bath, and it's really weird dynamic. And she just whispers as a joke. She says, "I think I could fix him." Because we laugh all the time, because she picks the worst men. The worst men. And of course she picked me a long time ago, but it has nothing to do with it. Trying to fix. But she said, this guy was giving his mom a bath. Not in a weird, it was just a weird, it wasn't, no, you could give your mom a bath. Maybe there's situations where you do that just to be helpful. But this was Joker the movie. And it was Joaquin Phoenix. And he was just completely incredible. Just blew your mind, everything he did. But it was just great because, he's over there, just being ridiculous. And she says, "I think I could fix him." And I'm just like, we just laugh at, the idea, the challenge. You could have a good man, or you could take on the challenge of changing a man, which is always a lot of fun. But she said, I could change this guy. I could change. And it was just comic relief. But anyway, this, man, dude, we're in the theater, and these teenagers were just the worst. Like, my biggest pet peeve in the world is people that think they're funny that are completely not funny. And they think they're, they kind of look around like, man, I'm funny. Nah, you're really not. And I see that on a regular basis in my profession. So, but, just to be genuinely funny is very rare. And, you might have a couple, people kind of giggling, here and there. But, man, these guys were like, what were they doing, man? They were just idiots. They were like falling down in the movie. But will tell you one thing. They shut the hell up when Joaquin was getting into his role. Even anytime I noticed that they would pretend the high schoolers, they would pretend fart with their mouth or something, or I don't know. They were just the worst, and then they were always laughing and stuff. But man, when Joaquin was like getting down and dirty and getting into that, that character actor, they shut the hell up, dude. They just let it be weird and disturbing, and I was just like, well, that's just props to the performance, because these kids are idiots. And the Joker's kind of like he looks, his whole thing is like, man, things aren't getting better out there, are they? When he's talking about Gotham and stuff. And I was just kind of thinking about, those kids being idiots. And I was just like, you know what? The Joker's making a lot of sense right now. I was like, I kind of, there's people are kind of dumb and people are idiots. It's not that simple, but man, ever since Philip Seymour Hoffman, and I know of you guys, you avid listeners, you probably, you know how I feel about him. He's one of my favorite actors. He was my favorite actor until he passed. But Phoenix is absolutely incredible. I love anything that he's in. I'm going to be there. And he's at the point in his career where he can be so selective and not do anything really whack. And he can work with the directors that, that challenge the roles that really, that really he feels like he could really get into. Daniel Day-Lewis. I know he said he retired, but man, Phantom Thread, whoosh, dude. Anybody that captures, it's those abstract, kind of emotions that he can capture that separates him from the other actors. The annoyance factor that is captured in Daniel Day-Lewis's face with that woman that he was seeing. She's just obnoxious, and like the scraping of the toast and just his mannerisms, and it's just absolutely incredible. And this, I'm amazed that the same guy that directed Hangover 3, I didn't even get through 2, so I couldn't even imagine how terrible Hangover 3 is. And my favorite is the guy that says, it actually is pretty good. It's actually 2 isn't good, but 3's good. That's never been the case. That's never been the case. If part 2's terrible, I guarantee you part 3 is awful. And that's a Lonely Uncle guarantee right there. But man, it's not a fun movie to watch by any means. But you're just mesmerized by when he's on that screen. And you're just like, man. And somebody asked me, he said, is it better than Heath's performance? And I would never say that, ever. Because Heath, he reinvented that role. He just made it pretty incredible. And Jared Leto, that was the biggest piece of crap I've ever watched. Him with those gold teeth, or those silver teeth, and his whole character and his interpretation. Some people say, "Well, man, he didn't get a fair shot. He should have had more screen time." No, he shouldn't have. No, he shouldn't have. He was terrible. It was awful. So, not buying that. And I'm just so glad that maybe that will go away. That Batman or that Suicide Squad will just go away, just like the other. Somebody's like, "Hey, man, the new the new superhero is going to probably go in this direction." No, it's not. That's not going to be the direction. This Todd Phillips film, how dark and it's straight up violent and just it's so disturbing. These people are making too much money, bringing these kids into these theaters. These high schoolers that were like the worst people, And just the majority of the people, all those other people that are spending their money, not saying everybody goes is terrible, but those guys that were in our film were terrible. But they're not going to give that up. They can't afford an R rating, So don't tell me that, like, oh yeah, this is good. This is the universe that they're going to explore. No, it's not. This is, maybe he will do a sequel, maybe so, maybe another one, whatever. But they just couldn't possibly go in this direction, So it's just, you're not going to win me over. And I know I'm anti. I know I talk about superheroes and Star Wars and stuff like this. And I'm not going to defend myself. It is a superhero movie. Joker is. But if Joaquin Phoenix is going to be in a film, I'm going to watch it. And if Todd Phillips, who directed Hangover 3 with the monkey, is directing a film, you darn right that I'm going to be there. What else did he direct? What else has Todd Phillips directed? I mean, of course he did all the Hangovers. But what else did he direct? I have to look that up. But anyway, and he's done with the PC culture, the comedy culture. He doesn't want to be funny anymore because people get offended, which is completely ridiculous. So what you're going to do, make very disturbing superhero movies from now on? Because it's tough to make a funny comedy. And I have to say The Hangover has a lot of great parts. Has a lot of really good parts. And it's funny and has Mike Tyson in it, who I just appreciate so much. And so, so it's pretty good. You got to be in a certain mood, though. I was prepared. I was emotionally prepared, and it was just as taxing and as I thought it was going to be. It put you in just a strange. It makes a lot of great points, but at the same time, I don't, I love the reviewers that are like, it's this, and this. Phoenix is amazing, but yeah, you don't need to go see it. But you do. Because it is a statement that, just like anything. And I mean, it needs to be made. He felt like it needs, it needs to be. He directed it. He took it on for a purpose. Phoenix signed off on it for a purpose and bought in 100% and pulled it off, despite what certain people say. I mean, I think the reason why people don't like it is because it's effective. Because it makes you scared, or it makes you just, it's disturbing. And, I know some people that aren't going to watch it, or at least not running to go watch it because of that. And that is power. You know how powerful that is? You know how talented you have to be to direct something like that? Do you know to impact and have an influence and have people just go through that many types of emotions that are just some of this dark stuff, man. And they did it. I mean, they captured it. And I know there's probably holes in the plot if you toured, whatever, but man, just like that dude when he's dialed in. I like anyone. I admire anyone. If you're that good at your craft, or you're that good at what you do, that's fascinating to me. I've always taken a liking or an interest in people that are really good, masters of what they do. And I feel like in that case, when Phoenix gets going, it's something else, man. Good gracious. Yeah. And then, my divorced friend wants to go see. He wanted to go see it, and I'm not going to go see it again in the theater. I don't think, because it's just too much, man. It's just too much. If it was a fun, uplifting, great movie, maybe I'd go in there. But I'll listen to about it, the divorce, in a different setting at a different time. Because I am that guy, man. I'm that dude, bro. Podcaster, educator, great uncle, the funnest uncle ever. That's a quote. And an amazing hang when you're in between your second and third divorce. An entertainer. First, I'm an entertainer and a comedian. And then everything else just kind of falls. And then somewhere down there, purse. Good person. But, hey, man, I tell you what, bro. I hope you don't need this week, man. Because, I don't. Hope you have a good week and you don't need to apply this to get through it. It's tough out there. And some people hate their jobs, man. Hate their everyday. It's almost, it's a part of it. Just get through it. It's because we're not going to be here long.